Welcome back to Lunchtime Politics on Channels Television. More stories now. President Bola Tinubu has ordered the Ondo State House of Assembly to transfer power to the Deputy Governor of the state, Lucky Aiyedatiwa. Our correspondent reports that the president's directive comes following the inability of the governor, Rotimi Akeredolu, to be present to run the affairs of the state due to his health condition. The president emphasized that his transfer should be conducted without any conditions, as it aligns with the doctrine of necessity. And we have joining us on the program now Barrister Ige Ashemudara to provide more insight into the president's call on the State Assembly for power to be handed over to the Deputy Governor of Ondo State, Lucky Aiyedatiwa. Mr. Ashemudara, thank you for joining us on Lunchtime Politics.
Thank you for having me.
First of all, let's start with the implications of this call. The president says it's in line with the doctrine of necessity. What are the legal dimensions to this?
Yes, thank you. Let me start by saying that when we commend the president for asking them to do the right thing, what we heard before was that the president was asking the deputy governor in the last meeting they had to sign an undated resignation letter, so that at any time he could be asked to go out if he's not subjecting himself or submitting to their own sacrifices. So if he has now taken a U-turn, and now he has now said that the House of Assembly should immediately transmit power to him, that's a welcome development. But I must say immediately that this also shows that we have not yet out of the we have not yet come out of the hangover of the military regime, where the country is treated as a military system and not a federal system. The condition is very, very clear on what should happen when the governor is unable to perform the functions of his office. Section 90 sub 1, 190 sub 1 of the Constitution, and in section 190 sub 2 of that same Constitution, following what happened during the Yaradua days. The National Assembly had altered, following the agitation of Nigerians, the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to include what we now call the doctrine of necessity. That is, if the State Executive Council fails by virtue of the provision of Section 189 of the Constitution to transmit power to him based on what that provision has stated, then the House of Assembly must do that within 21 days. It's unfortunate that the governor has not been around for more than 6 months. They have just 12 months in a year. He has not been around for more than 6 months. He came back, or he was said to have come back sometime in the first week of September, but none of us have seen him. And since that time, he has also gone abroad. And this is more than 20 months that has happened. And we are just, let's say, perceiving just some signs of respite. And even what has been said, the president had just told the House of Assembly and all other players that are involved in this.
So, Mr. Ashemudara, it's the State Assembly that reserves the powers to invoke the doctrine of necessity, not the president.
Not the president. By virtue of Section 190 sub 2, once it is 21 days and the governor is unable to perform his office, the State Assembly must, by simple majority, pass a vote transmitting power to him as the.
Oh dear, Mr. Ashemudara, it appears that the network has hung. I was going to say that the reason I asked that specifically, and if you can hear me now, is that the president had intervened in this matter, some weeks back, and still the political crisis in that state, there was no let-up in it. Do you now sense a pushback, yet again from the political party, the ruling party in Ondo State, even though the president has made this order? I hope you got the question. I hope you're back now, Mr. Ashemudara. Mr. Ashemudara, are you back?
What is the question again?
Yes, thankfully
Yes,
you're
I'm
back.
back. I'm back.
Yes, thankfully you're back. I said the reason I asked that, that if it's the State Assembly that reserves the right to invoke the doctrine of necessity and not the president, will there be a pushback yet again this time from those who are holding the political party in Ondo State at this time in response to the president's call? Do you think they will heed to the president's call, or they will make it difficult
I
for the
don't
State
think they will.
Assembly to hand
I
over
don't think they
power
will.
to the president, to the
Sorry.
deputy governor?
I don't think that there will be a pushback because all of them have gotten to their weakest position. There have been allegations of forgery in which some of the commissioners and high-ranking officers of the state, including the son of the deputy of the governor, have been alleged to have been forging the signature of the governor for transactions that have not been approved. And it's unfortunate. Issues of fraud is now involved. We want to see what the ICPC will do, what the ESCC will do, what the police will do, and what Nigerians will do. What is making them trying to or seemingly seem to be trying to obey what the president has said now is because they have no hiding place again. They have soaked their hands, and that letter written by the Honorable Commissioner for Mineral Resources, my friend Honorable Razak Ayobi, that letter has hit them hard because the man said the signature of the governor had been forged on several occasions, and he had taken those signatures for forensic analysis. And analysis has revealed that indeed those signatures were forged. So I think part of what is making them to now want to transmit power, it's not just because the president has so directed, or it's not just because they are now remorseful, but because they know that their hands are sore, that if there's not taken, they will go down with it.
But
That's the
party
point.
members and indeed members of the state cabinet have reassured time and again that the governor has not lost, his cognitive ability, that he's still able, to interact. So where does the allegation of forgery of a signature now come to play if the governor still has his cognitive ability intact, according to members of the State Executive Council?
You will know that statement from the members of the Executive Council is not correct. If a man has cognitive ability, and there have been raging arguments and debate about his ill health, there have been raging arguments and debate about his signature having been forged, he will have come out to say, no, I'm stand. No, my signature was not forged. He has it. So we didn't even hear just even a mere audio from the governor to say, oh, the person speaking, this is my voice. I have cognitive ability, I can sign. He has never addressed the press since he came back. He has never been seen in the public place. And we are not even sure whether he's in Nigeria. We are having a kind of situation, and it means that Nigerians are one and the same set of people. Is it not the same His Excellency Rotimi Akeredolu, who was the president of the bar to which I belong to, that made public statement asking the cabal to hand over power to the then vice president who became the president, Dr. Goodluck Jonathan. Is it not him? It is the same president and his people, and all of us, that made that agitation. Why would it now be that the same thing is happening to the president and then to the governor, and then the story is changing? So it's unfortunate. It means that there's a serious need to go back to the schools to begin to teach people about political values, about values in public offices, about values in human relations, and all of that. So, because we don't know where this is coming from, it is least expected in Ondo State, because Ondo State is not a state known for this kind of thing. Our state is a state that has a reputation of integrity, honesty, transparency, dignity, and the best and the finest of activists in this country are from that state. So it's unfortunate that we are having this kind of thing happening to
One
a
more
state
thing
that
now.
has that reputation.
One more thing now, and this time it's about the laws on which the political values are supposed to be founded. What do you foresee to happen in the coming days should the State Assembly fail to invoke the doctrine of necessity that will see the swearing in of the deputy governor as substantive governor of the state? What provisions does the law provide in this case?
That will be the beginning of their end, because the people are now pressed. The people are now pushed to the wall. You know, when you push a ram to the wall, it will hit back at you. The people will vote against them. The people will act against them. Legal actions will be taken against them. All sorts of arsenals will be opened against them, and they won't be able to stand it. I can assure you that. All of us are fed up.
I want to thank you very much, Mr. Ige Ashimudara, legal practitioner, for your time and for your contributions on the program today. Thank you very much for joining us on Lunchtime Politics.
Thank you for having me.
There's more to come on the program now. This time we're moving to the southeast, where the governor of Abia State, Alex Otti, has signed the Greater Aba Development Authority Bill into law, describing it as a major step towards paying special attention to Aba and accelerating socio-economic development in the commercial nerve center of the state. Speaking at the occasion, which had top members of his executive in attendance at his country home in Isialangwa local government area of Abia State, Dr. Otti said his administration will continue to pay special attention to the infrastructural development of Aba, regretting long years of neglect by previous administrations.
Combines what many cities have individually. It is not just a commercial zone, it is also an industrial hub. So we have all sorts of light manufacturing, heavy manufacturing, micro, small and medium scale businesses, trading. Virtually every street in Aba is a market, and even though we are working on organizing them, but it's the strength that we recognize. So when you see us invest heavily in infrastructure renewal in Aba, it is because we recognize the potentials that Aba has, and we believe that if we improve on ease of doing business, we attract a lot of businesses that are hitherto had voted with their feet, or that are located elsewhere, or even brand new businesses that are coming to town. And we want to combine all those with a technology hub. There are a lot of good things that are coming to Aba.
And now we return to our top story, being the political impasse in Rivers State following the mass defection of 27 state assembly members from the ruling People's Democratic Party in Rivers State to the All Progressives Congress. And for more legal insight into the implications of this development, we have joining us legal practitioner Barrister Eze Onyekwere. Barrister Onyekwere, thank you for joining us on Lunchtime Politics.
My pleasure.
First of all, let's have your initial reaction to this mass defection and the implications for governance in Rivers State.
Well, these gentlemen were elected on the platform of a political party, and there is no report of any division or factionalization in that party, at least in the public domain. There is no report of any internal squabbles or challenge or even a merger of the party with another. And suddenly, all we saw yesterday was that they've defected and they were with the flags of another political party. Simply for their own political convenience. Automatically, by virtue of Section 109(1)(g) of the Constitution, they have lost their seats. They have actually personally declared their respective seats vacant. So for me, it is up to the Speaker of the House of Assembly, in accordance with the same provision, to be able to declare those seats vacant. And if the Speaker is among them, the remaining members should be able to come together and say their seats are vacant. And then they can proceed, INEC can proceed to start planning for elections to fill the seats of those respective constituencies who by now do no longer have a representative in the Rivers State House of Assembly. There are Court of Appeal and Supreme Court decisions which have affirmed this provision of the Constitution. So for me now, there is nothing withholding INEC from going to take steps to fill those vacancies in the vacant constituencies of the Rivers State House of Assembly.
But Barrister Onyekpere, it is this same subsection 1G that the defecting state assembly members have cited. And when you talk about crisis, they have referred to the dispute over the national secretaryship position of their party. They've also talked about the burning of the state assembly in Rivers State and the persecution, quote and unquote, of some members of the assembly. You know, the speaker, who's, according to them, whose residence was attacked, and some of them who assassination attempts were made on their lives. Is this not tantamount to crisis within the party? And if not, should the Constitution be clearer on what the nature of a crisis would be that will warrant the defection of politicians from one party to another within the state assembly or any assembly in the first place?
The Constitution did not anticipate a contrived crisis where you stay on your own as a politician and imagine or contrive a crisis. A crisis must be clear, and everybody in Nigeria should be able to understand what is the foundation and nature of the crisis and even see it or feel it. So there is no crisis that amounts to what the Constitution anticipated that should warrant 27 of them. Even if you see how they were heralded in a bus and carrying the flag of another party, there was this rascality and childishness about it. So there is nothing.
Mr. Onyekpere.
Situation in the...
Go ahead.
That constitutional provision, the expectation or anticipation of the Constitution has not been met by what is currently happening either in the People's Democratic Party or anywhere in Nigeria. So whatever they're saying is contrived, and they know that they have forfeited their seats and they're simply trying to make an excuse. And so, as far as I'm concerned, and looking clearly at the provisions of the Constitution, there is nothing justifiable. There's no need for any amendment. There's nothing to support their position, because it's easy for people to try to manipulate sections of the law and say, oh, they have fit into what the Constitution anticipated. So nothing of sort has happened.
So, Mr. Onyekpere, are you saying that the feud between the former governor and the current governor and subsequent events are contrived?
How has that got to do with the PDP? So if the former governor is in Abuja and trying to create crisis in his state, does that amount to a crisis in PDP? I mean, let's define the crisis that should amount to the reason why you should leave Party A to move into Party B. As Party A, the party they left, were they suspended? Were they attacked by the political party? Were they threatened with dismissal from the party? So what exactly is the position? If somebody stays in Abuja and decides to foment trouble in Port Harcourt, in Rivers State, there must be an end to rascality. And I think that we're expecting the president and commander-in-chief of the armed forces to call the former governor to order and to make sure there is peace in that state. Rivers State and their people have suffered a lot. It did not begin today. This has been happening almost at every administration. So the expectation is that the man in Abuja should stay in Abuja and do the work for which he was appointed and allow the people of Rivers State to have a breathing space. This rascality can no longer continue. We are talking of democracy. We are talking of peace.
One more thing, Mr. Onyekpere, and I'll appreciate if you can answer in 30 to 40 seconds. The judicial intervention in this crisis being the 2 court orders obtained by the 2 factions of the dispute in the Rivers State Assembly. One, stopping the governor from interfering in the affairs of the State Assembly, and the other, saying that they should maintain status quo. There have been different interpretations to it. What exactly is the implication of this?
Well, they have the opportunity to go upstairs to a more superior court to be able to give a clearer view on the matter. But as far as I'm concerned, all that we have so far is contrived. If everybody comes back to his senses and works on the path of constitutionalism, Port Harcourt and Rivers State will be peaceful. And they can continue the governance for which they were elected.
All right, that would be a good place to leave it. We want to thank you very much, Mr. Eze Onyekpere, for your time and contributions on the program. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And that's it on the program today. You have been served your Lunchtime Politics edition for today. Thank you for watching. Join us again same time next week when we bring you tomorrow, when we bring you another edition. I am Bukola Koka. Bye for now. Hello and welcome to Lunchtime Politics, reaching you live right here from our global headquarters at Channels Television in Lagos. I am Bukola Koka, and we begin straight off with Rivers politics, as the governor of the state, Siminalayi Fubara, is certainly not taking Monday's defection of 27 state assembly members with a pinch of salt, as report says currently meeting with the members of the State Executive Council at the Government House in Port Harcourt, the state capital. The emergency meeting comes after the defection of 27 members of the 32-man House of Assembly from the governing People's Democratic Party, PDP, to the opposition party, the All Progressives Congress. According to reports, the mass defection of the State Assembly members is the main subject matter of this emergency meeting. We'll bring you details of this story as it unfolds. Meanwhile, the PDP is asking the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to immediately commence the process of conducting fresh elections into the 27 state constituencies in Rivers State, which constituencies affect the 27 lawmakers where the defection took place. A statement by the PDP National Publicity Secretary, Mr. Debo Ologunagba, notes that the lawmakers have lost their seats in the state's legislative arm of government by reason of their defection. The PDP also demands that the Speaker of the State House of Assembly should immediately comply with the provisions of the Constitution and declare the seats of the 27 lawmakers vacant. And amid the ongoing political impasse in Rivers State that has seen the mass defection of 27 State Assembly members to the All Progressives Congress, the embattled governor, Siminalayi Fubara, has received the support of the Labour Party candidate in the 2023 governorship election in the state. Mrs. Beatrice Itubo confirmed this to Channels Television correspondent that talks are presently ongoing on a synergy between her and Governor Fubara of the PDP. She, however, did not give details on whether or not she will be defecting to the PDP. Mrs. Itubo, however, says she will provide further clarifications on the nature of this political synergy after they conclude their deliberations. And staying with Rivers State, a coalition of Rivers civil society groups is wading into the political impasse in the state and calling on well-meaning Nigerians to step in and help broker peace. The leadership of the group at a press conference today on Monday in Port Harcourt accused the Martins Amewele faction of violating a court order restraining the two groups in the dispute from sitting in the House of Assembly chambers. This call is coming after 27 members of the State House of Assembly defected to the APC. We'll have that story subsequently. There's more to come, particularly with politics from Ondo State on the program, but that will be after this break. Stay with us. We'll be right back.